Hello, friends, and welcome to RevBTB Does It. Today's mission is to go to the Dollar Tree. Now, I don't live near a Dollar Tree, so I don't know everything that they have there all the time. The closest Dollar Tree to me is about 20 minutes away, and then the next closest one after that is 40 minutes away. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the $20 challenge and see what we can get at the Dollar Tree for $20 to make as many meals as possible from that $20 investment. Now, I know that prices have gone up, so the Dollar Tree isn't going to get me 20 items anymore. So I've kind of done a little bit of homework and kind of been paying attention when I've gone into the Dollar Tree to what they've had generally all the time at the closest Dollar Tree that I have. Like I said, I've only been there about 5 times this year. So we're going to go to the next one further away from the closer one, and we're going to start there at their expanded refrigerated section. Now, I don't know what they've got there because I've only been there, I think, twice ever. And so I just know that they have a lot more of a refrigerated section than the one that's closer to me. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to move back to the one that's closer to me and see what we can pick up for $20 from the Dollar Tree and make as many meals as possible with that. Now, the reason I chose the Dollar Tree instead of some other grocery store is because Walmart's not close to me either. I don't have a Walmart. I don't have an Aldi. I don't have a Costco. I am stuck with a Hannaford that is about a minute down the road. I have a Family Dollar that I very rarely go into because they have a piddly refrigerated section, and it's a very small town that I live in. And the next closest grocery store is near that Dollar Tree that we're going to go to. So the next closest grocery store is 20 minutes or so away. And so there's not a lot of options for me where I'm at. And I wanted to do the Dollar Tree challenge. I see a lot of people going into the Dollar Tree and seeing if they can do $5 dinners from the Dollar Tree. And I've seen that there's a lot of things that can be done. So that's sort of kind of been a little bit of an inspiration. But I wanted to see what I could do with 20 bucks and see how many meals I could get rather than go in and try to orchestrate one meal for a certain amount of money. Because for me, it's all about how much I can make and not have repetitive meals over and over again. So I'm going to see what we can do. Now, I've done a little bit of research by looking up online and seeing what there is out there, but there's not a lot of choices for me. So we're just going to have to go to the store and do a field trip and see what there is, grab what we can grab, come home, and make what we can make. So let's get to the Dollar Tree and see what they have in store for us. Well, they didn't have quite what I was looking for. Actually, didn't have anything that I was looking for, but I made some substitutions from what I had developed at the other store to accommodate what I'm going to get. Now let's get home and I'll show you the shop. Okay, guys, that other Dollar Tree was crazy. It was just, there were so many things in the aisles and everything, so I didn't film in there, but I am at the other Dollar Tree now, and we're going to go in and see what there is that they have that I wasn't able to get at the last one. Now, it's everything that I needed for the most part at the last one. They had a really great freezer section with all the refrigerated stuff I needed. So right now, I'm just going to go in and see if I can pick up a couple of things at this Dollar Tree that the other one didn't have. So let's go in and see if they've got what we need. Guess where we are? We're at the Dollar Tree. So we're about ready to head in, see what we can get for 20 bucks, and see what we can make for meals from $20 at the Dollar Tree. Let's go. All right. So this is what we got. for our $20 haul. And of course, I didn't count tax. I just got 16 items. And of course, with the 16 items, the quarter each increase, that brings us up to 20 bucks. So this is what I picked up. I'm just going to give you a quick tour. We got 3 of the little 7-ounce chubs of sausage for meat. We also got a thing of hot dogs here for meat. We got 3 things of cheese, 2 of mozzarella, 1 of cheddar, 1 pizza crust, 1 brown gravy mix, 2 packages of French fries, a package of spaghetti sauce, 1 package of Bisquick cheese and garlic biscuit mix, 2 packages of the pepper and onion seasoning blend. They call it a pepper stir-fry mix, but it's just got the peppers and onions in it, and 1 package of flat pitas. Now, in my original thought process was hoping that I could go to the other Dollar Tree and get 2 of the mix-it-yourself pizza crusts and 1 package of rolls, which I know I've seen at Dollar Trees before. But they didn't have any at the second Dollar Tree. So basically, that kind of shorted me on what I was going to do in my idea. But I just kind of reworked it a little bit. And instead of getting the 2 pizza doughs and 1 roll, I just traded it around, got a pizza crust, got a biscuit mix, and got flat pitas to kind of switch up what my ideas were. Along the same lines as I had before in my mind, but not quite exactly. But who's to say, you know, maybe what I'm turning into here is some deliciousness that I've never tried before. So I'm going to start doing my meal prep, and we'll get into cooking. I don't know if you guys have any ideas of what I'm going to make here, but in my mind, I know I've got 4 or 5 different recipes in mind to make with all this stuff. But it takes a little bit of meal prep, and I'm going to be using packages of stuff for more than one thing. So let's get into the meal prep. All right, so this is what we've got done so far. We've got the peppers and onions in the pan. I'm cooking them first so I can get the bits and pieces off of the pan and be able to use the sausage in the same pan, but not have peppers and onions all flavored with sausage, if that makes any sense, because I'm going to be using them in a couple of different things. So I'm going to fry these up separately. I've got both bags of French fries on my lightly greased tray here, and my oven is heating up. I'm going to cook these off first too, and then you'll see what we're going to do with this stuff after I get done cooking this down. Then we'll get to working on our sausage and our hot dogs and our other goods that we've got going on. Okay, so what we've done here is we've got our peppers and onions all sauteed up in this bowl here, ready to go into the other items that I'm going to be using it with. In my pan over here with all of that good deliciousness from the peppers and onions, I now have the sausage going. And I went and got myself when I was at the Dollar Tree today, because I very rarely, like I said, ever go to the Dollar Tree, and got myself one of these handy-dandy meat mashers. Let me get my potato masher, and I'll show you what I've been using. And it works great. It just gets meat stuck in the little curvies there. So we'll see what this sucker does, if it's all the rage like everybody says. So we're going to try it out. But yeah, so I've got that in there. I also have, and in the oven, I've got my French fries. Oops. A little bit of the old steam action going on. Cooking so that those are getting ready to rock and roll to go as the side dishes or main parts of dishes for some of the other stuff that I've got in the works here. So after I get this taken care of and put to the side, I'm then going to get to work on my biscuit mix. So we'll come back when I've got that all ready to rock and roll. I like it. I like it a lot. So when I was at the Dollar Tree, or both Dollar Trees, I intended fully on picking up a cheese grater, and the first Dollar Tree did not have one. So therefore, it made me think about it. But then in my brain, the way it works, I thought about it, and then that was it. at that one Dollar Tree. When I got to the other Dollar Tree, it was totally not in my wheelhouse mind at all. And I totally spaced out on getting a cheese grater, even looking for one there. So I got to figure out how to grate some cheese, but I think I got an idea. This is one of them handy dandy cheese slider things. You put it on top of a brick of cheese and it slices off a little thin slice. I don't need it shredded per se, but it's just I know that this stuff is real cheese. I didn't want to get the shreds over there because I know they don't melt well. So I'm going to see what I can do with this little rig. And we're going to get some cheese prepped up. So I got to stop doing that. All right, guys. I seasoned these fries up a little bit before I put them in there with a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of kosher salt. And I would hoped that they would toast up a little bit better. They seem like they're done, but they just don't look done to me. So I'm going to take them out for a little while, and then I will cool them off and let them pop. I'll pop them back in again after I'm done prepping everything else up. So see if I can get a little bit of a toast on them if they've cooled off, and then bring them back up. I don't want them to dry out, but they look like some of them are falling apart because they're very soft. So we'll see what they do. But I've never tried Dollar Tree French fries before. In fact, this is like the first time I've ever really done much of anything from the Dollar Tree grocery aisles. I've not ever really done too much. So we'll see how this works, guys. Work in progress, right? So now we've got our cheese all shredded up. I've got it divided up into the different components that I need it for. I've got some fries set aside over here for the sides to go along with another thing I'm making, which is going to be the pigs in a blanket with the cheddar biscuits. Here is Poutine, or Poutine. The first way I learned how to say it was Poutine, and I don't know if somebody was just saying it because they wanted to say it like that or not, but it's basically French fries with gravy, and I'll be putting some mozzarella cheese on the top. So I'm putting the gravy on now. That was what the gravy packet was for. So I'm putting together the poutine now, and then I will slide that back into the oven so that the cheese can melt, and then we'll get going on to the next item. Okay, we've got our sausage and peppers and onions back in a skillet here, and I'm just going to cover it up and re-warm it up a little bit. Half of this is going to go into just a plain old sausage, peppers, and onions pita. And the other half is going to get mixed with some of the pasta sauce here. And we're going to do a sausage, peppers, and onion parm pita. So 2 different types of pitas going on. So there's the cheese we have for those 2 things. And we'll get going on the next item. We've got our Poutine in the oven too, just so you can see that. That's getting all nice and toasty. So that's getting ready to rock and roll. And then we'll come back with the next component of our $20 Dollar Tree challenge. All right, so basically we have 4 servings of poutine here. So that's 4, sides. Or you could use this alongside some other vegetables and stuff as your main portion of your meal. So we've got 4 servings of poutine here. All right, so this right here is the sausage, pepper, and onion parm pita with a side of poutine. Okay, and this right here is just plain sausage, peppers, and onions pita with cheddar cheese and French fries on the side. And we got 2 of those pitas. Okay, and now we've got our sausage, pepper, and onion pizza going in. I've got some mozzarella and some cheddar on this pizza. I used the sauce that was left over from our sausage parm to put on this pizza. And of course, it's already got a lot of flavor in it because it's a pasta sauce, not just a pizza sauce. And I did have some Parmesan cheese, the shaky kind, in my fridge. So I put that on top just because I said I was going to use some pantry items. But this is the pizza, and that's going in, and this cooks in the oven for about 12 minutes because everything is really cooked, and you're just trying to melt the cheese and warm up the sauce because I've already cooked the onions, I've already cooked the sausage, and the dough actually is a crust that's already cooked as well. So really, we're just warming this through. But that's what it looks like going in. All right, and here is the pizza out of the oven. It doesn't look too shabby, does it, guys? Beautifully done, because like I said, everything was already cooked. We just were warming up the sauce and melting the cheese. So we're going to cut this up, and I'm sure that this is going to be at least 2 meals if one person gets a half, like of a pizza. So, you could probably serve 3 people if it was 2 adults and a child or something, if you cut it into 6s. So that's, where we're at with that. Okay, this is sort of my take on pigs in a blanket, but I'm actually putting them pigs in a biscuit. I've got the hot dog in there, and I actually thinned out the biscuit dough a little bit with a little bit of milk, just so that I could have it spread a little bit more. And I did a little too much. As you can see, it's starting to connect over there, but that's all right. We'll just take that apart when we get it all baked up. I'm going to put some cheese on the top of these, and then we're going to top them with the rest of the biscuit mix that we've got here. I reserved half of it, obviously. And you see I didn't use all of the hot dogs that were in that package, so there will be hot dogs left over for more to go with, other meals. But now I'm just putting some of this cheddar cheese on here. And there is cheddar cheese in the biscuit mix as well, because I got the cheddar cheese biscuits. So we're going to just put this on here, and then we'll top them off and get these in the oven. And I'm cooking everything to the biscuits package directions. It says 450. I'm going to start them off at 425 because I've thinned out the dough a little bit with some milk, like I said, and I just don't want it to cook too quick before the hot dogs and everything inside getting cooked all the way through. So that's where we're at. I'm going to top these with the cheese, put the biscuit topping on, and then put them in the oven. All right, well, here are the pigs in a blanket. And I guess we know what happens when you get a little distracted. So, and I think next time I do these, if I do it next time, I might actually put less stuff in the dough. I added more thinking that I would need it to cover this, but I was thinking wrongly. I think I should have added more Bisquick to the dough and made it so that it was more of an actual dough rather than a biscuit, or more liquidy biscuit. But we'll see how they taste. The hot dogs look like they're done, and it's not bad looking, obviously, but there's cheese, peppers, onions, hot dog, and they're wrapped inside a cheddar biscuit. So we will plate this up and see what they look like. So there they are. One is, it's pretty big. I mean, I'm holding it in my hand. That's pretty big. So I would assume that one would suffice for somebody. And there's French fries on the side. So that would be a perfect meal, I think. So I think you could get a couple of servings. French fries didn't stretch as far as I thought they might. But anyway, I'm going to go and assess what we've made up for meals for everything. See how many people we could feed or how many meals we get out of $20. And I'll see you in just a few minutes with that total. All right, so we're doing our follow-up. And let's see what we were able to create with what we got from the Dollar Tree. So we made a pizza, and if you cut that in 6s, you can get 2 slices per person, so that would feed 3 people. So that's 3 meals. The pitas, I overstuffed the ones that I had, so I could have gotten 2 more sandwiches out of what was there. So technically I could get 6 servings out of that for the pitas. And because of the pigs in the blanket, I only got 4 out of them. I probably could have gotten 6 out of that too. But we still got 4 out of that. And so for hot dogs, we had 4 left over. So if you were to take the leftover pitas and put the hot dogs in those pitas, that's another meal for 2 more people. So pizza for 3 people. The pitas themselves, the sandwiches, the sausage and parm, and the sausage and the peppers and onions would feed 6 people. The poutine would feed 4 people. Pigs in the blanket, we got 4 out of it, so that would feed 4 people. And then if you were to put the leftover hot dogs in the pita halves that were left over, you'd feed 2 people with that. And then we were left with an excess of a half a cup of gravy, a half a can of the marinara sauce, and 1 full pita round, or 2 pita pockets. So that's what we would have had left over. And you probably could have gotten away with maybe toasting up the pita pockets and putting them with something else, or using the sauce. And if I'd gone lighter on the cheese, taking that pita pocket and making some sort of like cheese pita pocket with the sauce and some cheese in the pockets. So you could probably have technically gotten another 2 meals out of it. So technically, if you add everything up, and I'm not going to do the what ifs. I'm not going to include that. I'm just going to say that that's excess. We've got 3 from the pizza, 6 from the pita sandwiches, 4 from the poutine, 4 from the pigs in the blanket. And if you take the excess hot dogs inside the pita pockets and fed 2 people with that, you'd have, let's see, 10, 14, 16, 19 meals. That's not bad for $20 from the Dollar Tree, right? And like I said, there's a little bit of excess stuff left over. So if you had some leftover stuff in your pantry, or, you know, if you had some ham, in a can or something, you could use the pita pockets that are left over for making a sandwich with that. And if you have a half a can of sauce left and, a handful of spaghetti, that's another meal made. The gravy, if you were to take some sort of canned meat, like the chicken or something like that, you could put that with the gravy and put that in a pita pocket. So that could be a different type of meal. So there are other things that you could do technically to, expand this a little bit more, but I don't think we did a bad job for $20 from the Dollar Tree. And you heard my kid, they liked it. They thought it was phenomenal stuff. So, you know, I'm glad that I was able to do this challenge, and maybe we'll come back and do it again. Maybe I'll do it with a grocery order from Walmart. Maybe I'll take the trek and go and pick it up, because that's a long ride. It takes about 40 minutes to get there and 40 minutes to get back. So that's quite a ride. And then I'd have to go in and shop too. I'd probably just do a grocery pickup from there. So anyway, that's how RevBTB does it, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any suggestions on what you would do, leave them down below, and I hope to see you again on my channel. Have a great day.